Hi, thanks for taking my question. My name is Rosemary Frey, and I wanted to talk maybe specifically you, Mr. Purser, about contracting. You said that the way the triple Ps work, that a lot of the risk goes on to the private partner in that. But as we've seen, say with Presto, there's been a tremendous increase in cost, and that a lot of that cost has come to us. And we don't see a lot of, say, accountability at Metrolinx. When I went to the Metrolinx board meeting, the second last one, there was a $100 million cost overrun, and Mr. Pritchard said to Mr. Hollis, I think it was, good job. And I interviewed, have a brief interview with Yaron Koch, he was at the Metrolinx Transportation Symposium a couple of months ago, and he was talking about public-private partnerships and contracting. He said that Metrolinx, he's actually contracted with Metrolinx, and I asked him about public-private partnerships, and he said that Metrolinx is doing bad contracting. They're not, in fact, anywhere close to shifting enough of the risk onto the public sector. Onto the private sector. So is he wrong, or are you wrong? One of you, you're both experts. And there's a lot, Ontario is already the most indebted non-sovereign jurisdiction in the world. There's a lot of money at stake, and it's not just a triviality. There's a lot of money. So this is a serious matter, and who's wrong in this equation?
Thank you for the question.
So, when you look at P3s, or public-private partnerships, or PPPs, or whatever you like to call it, you can discuss and you can discuss the merits and demerits of how funding is provided for large infrastructure projects, and you can discuss it from both angles. And there are different views, and if you think of economic policy, what a government decides is the level of debt that is sustainable to fund infrastructure investment, because there are economic benefits, both transit as well as wider economic benefits that go with an investment pattern into the future, is a discussion quite different to a discussion about transit. When you look at where we are as a transit authority, where we have an insatiable demand for transit to be more effective as a medium to connect communities, I think there's probably little, as I see it, probably little debate about the necessity to invest in transit.
But I just wanted
Sorry,
to
hang on.
Answer my question. Whether he's wrong and you're not doing bad contracting. That's a lot of money at stake.
So you've asked the question.
Yeah, I'd like to answer.
So I'll answer it. So let's stay with the original contract that we had, that we listen to questions. So we listen to questions and we answer, give you a good overview of what you were asking. You asked me about P3s and indebtedness in the province, and I thought I'd start with that. So I think the focus on investment is where we need to be in terms of our implementation plans, which we've put to government and which government has approved. If we think about P3 contracts and how we manage P3 contracts, and you look at what we're doing with the RER now, which is the contract which is under our control, we've focused that on a DBFOM procurement model. That DBFOM procurement model totally ring fences all of the system integration risks into a single contract position. And so when we go to market with that, we get consortia that bid back solutions that take all of the risks in consideration. Now that model is a model that works, and that works throughout the world, and it's a model that we will follow here to the letter. If you look at the very practical model out there that's currently in implementation, which is Eglinton, where it's not a DBFOM, where the procurement of the road.
You should tell people that
Sorry,
DBFM
please, can we just please, can we just stay with the method here as we've discussed before the meeting started? So you ask a question, we try to answer that.
I'm just saying people might not know what DBFM is.
Okay, so I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. So, but please, just follow through and give you the answer, yeah? So design, build, finance, operate, and maintain is a form of public-private partnership contract. So if you look at Eglinton, which is not a design, build, finance, operate and maintain contract, where the rolling stock was procured separately, it has opened up quite a lot of system integration risks, which have made its way to a very public disagreement between Bombardier, Metrolinx, as well as, to be honest, our broader contract of delivering Eglinton. So I think there are ways where you can deliver PPPs, or public-private partnership contracts, in a way which is more successful because it manages the risk better. That's exactly what we are doing with RER. RER is a huge, significant program, and we're doing that the right way. On contracts that have been in flight before because of historical contractual positions, which we understand as well, we're setting about on Eglinton, and we're fixing the challenges that we have there to make sure we deliver Eglinton as quickly as possible. In terms of your question about having spoken to someone that said to someone else about whether Metrolinx is doing P3 contracts well enough or not, I'm not sure why the person said it. I'm not sure what information they had, and I'm willing to listen to that.
He's the transportation minister for Holland, he knows that.
Well, so I could say the transportation minister for Holland is probably very informed about quite a lot of issues. And if there are things about our contract that he wants to share with us, or our contracts or lessons we can learn, we are always open to learn. And we've been very, very clear in terms of our response. We've reported publicly on our response to, for example, findings by the Auditor General in terms of how we manage contracts. And we're very transparent. Where there are things in our contracts that have not worked well, we'll put actions in place to correct that. So these contracts are really important, they're really complicated, and we have a very open and transparent approach to learn from those and to put processes in place to make these contracts work better. And we stand by that. And when I go to public committee and standing committees about our contracts, I will very openly share our lessons in terms of what contracts we have learned lessons from and what we'll do differently. Very practical.
Thank you for that question, and feel free to stay after the meeting.